Alright everybody, welcome to the channel. This is doing videos like this is a little bit new for me, so bear with me. We'll go ahead and get the legal disclaimer and the safety stuff out of the way. Go ahead and show you that this gun's clear. And later on we're going to use the stock Glock 19. That gun's also clear. And of course this is just a frame with nothing, so it's not dangerous. I'll go ahead and state for the record that everything that I'm about to do or talk about, everything I've done is fully local, state, and federally legal. I'm not going to show anyone how to build anything in this video. I'm not going to give you any advice or show you how to disassemble or modify anything. So there it is. I recently realized that my channel is pretty much just competition footage with no real explanation of what's happening or the projects that I'm working on or the development, blah blah blah. So let's go ahead and fix that. We can talk about this thing. This is a 3D printed frame that I was inspired to make by watching Booligan's video about his Big Chungus and Little Chungus sort of competitive ideas, and I decided to build on that a little bit. I settled on the idea that I would build something that would be USPSA limited optics legal. And I figured that was the right direction, the right division to choose, because it allows for lots of performance enhancing modifications that I could incorporate into a 3D printed frame. And you can see some of those here. And unlike open division, it did not require me, well, not require, but you really need to shoot major if you're gonna shoot open. So, and I wasn't sure if it was even possible to design a 3D printed frame that can handle 9mm major loads, because they're pretty spicy. So I started with Booligan's Little Chungus frame. Got the step files for that. That's a DD19 based frame. And the reason I chose that is because I had a PSA dagger that I could cannibalize parts from to get started. So you can see outwardly some pretty obvious modifications to the design. There's this fake 1911 style of, it looks like a 1911 safety. Of course it's nothing, it's not a safety, it's just a place to put my thumb. And also another larger thumb rest here for my support hand thumb, and it feels good. Also see a magwell on the bottom that's molded in as part of the grip, the obligatory tape, of course. And at the front, it's harder to tell on this version, but we can grab this. Grab this to make it easier to see. That there's 4 cylindrical holes, each of them holding a stack of these tungsten weights that you can see. And these are sold on Amazon as, sort of weights for for Boy Scout Pinewood Derby cars. So easy to get those. And you can see that, see the modifications to the frame. Finished off the build with a Timney Alpha trigger, which is, in my opinion, one of the best. It's one of the best Glock triggers on the market currently. I'm not going to say it's the best. We'll see what happens with that Trigger Tech Ace. It doesn't appear to be quite safe enough yet, but it seems like they're making changes, so we'll see what happens. May end up going with that at some point. As far as internals, I ordered the locking block and rails from Aves, because that's they do a great job on that stuff. And topped it off with a Viridian green dot. Any RMR pattern dot probably would work pretty much the same here. I'm not sure if you can see, I am a big fan of these Viridian dots. They work well. I've had no problems with them over the last few years. I've owned a couple, but there's lots of other good options. I'm not actually saying you have to pick that one over another one. Apart from that, internals are mostly stock. I had to play around with a bunch of different spring weights on the recoil spring to striker spring ratio and a few other things like that. And I polished up everything inside so it runs nice and smooth. And now it's shooting great. I'll try and incorporate some match footage so you can sort of see how it's going. I took third in my division in a match earlier this week. So that's progress. Let's go ahead and weigh this against the stock Glock 19 and see just how much are we adding to the frame. So we've got our stock Glock 19 and we're looking at about 21 ounces. We're gonna call it 21 ounces. And with the 3D printed frame, we are looking at about 34 ounces. It's about 3/4 of a pound that we've added here, so I'm relatively happy with that, and we'll keep adding updates as things progress and develop, but that's the state of this project right now. And if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button and yada yada. It does actually help to push engagement, so good luck out there, everybody.